This is The Space Shot, episode 242 for January 11th, 2018. Launches, Endeavour, and the Botany Bay. Hey everyone, welcome to The Space Shot, your daily space history, pop culture, and news fix. I'm John Molnix. I've got a quick launch and Static Fire update today. Well, it didn't happen yesterday, but SpaceX is scheduled to static fire the Falcon Heavy later today, Thursday the 11th. The test window opens at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and runs for 6 hours. Once there's video or news to share, I'll be sure to link to it in tomorrow's episode. The United Launch Alliance is scheduled to launch a Delta IV from Vandenberg Air Force Base later this afternoon. The launch window from Vandenberg runs from 12:30 to 5:15 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and if possible, I will include a link to that live stream on Facebook. The Chinese are set to launch a Long March 3B later today, with liftoff scheduled for 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're up even later, yet another rocket is due to launch today, this time from India. A PSLV or Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle will launch a new high-resolution Earth observation satellite called the Cartosat 2ER. I will link to videos for any of the live streams that I can find on Facebook, so be sure to watch for those. It's fantastic that so many missions are launching within such a short time. 3 launches plus a Falcon Heavy static fire makes for a very good day in my book. Now for some space history. On January 11th, 1996, the Space Shuttle Endeavour lifted off from Launch Complex 39B on a nearly 9-day mission to retrieve a Japanese experiment that had launched 10 months earlier on an H-2 rocket. The Japanese Space Flyer Unit, or SFU, carried different experiments ranging from biological studies to material science. The crew of STS-72 captured this spacecraft on the 3rd day of the mission, and with that objective completed, the crew began working on 2 EVAs. In the mission recap video that I'm going to be linking to in the show notes, astronaut Winston Scott talked about the EVAs and how they were tailored to testing the tools and systems that could be used in the construction of the International Space Station. The first ISS module launch was still 2 years away at the time of STS-72, but NASA was still well into testing for the future station. In addition to capturing the Japanese SFU, the crew of STS-72 also deployed the Office of Aeronautics and Space Technology Flyer, or OST Flyer. Too bad they didn't include a T in front of that name. It would have been funny had they deployed and captured Toast during their mission. The crew of STS-72 landed Endeavour at the shuttle landing facility in Florida in the early morning hours of January 20th. The NASA mission page for STS-72 notes that sonic booms were heard at 2:39 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the astronauts mention how they probably woke a few people up. Do check out the post-flight video that the National Space Society hosts if you'd like to learn more about this mission. I've got one piece of pop culture history for today. If you're a fan of Star Trek, you probably remember the SS Botany Bay. While there's no official canon launch date, a Star Trek story lists the launch date for the Botany Bay as January 11th, 1996. If you haven't watched Star Trek, the Botany Bay was the spacecraft that carried Khan Noonien Singh and his group of genetically modified superhumans into space. Thankfully, Khan and his group of augments didn't launch from Earth on a sleeper ship 22 years ago today. On the off chance that you haven't seen the Star Trek Original Series episode Space Seed, I'll talk more about it in February. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'd appreciate it if you could leave a review on iTunes. If you do that, screenshot it and send it to me at John Molnix pretty much everywhere on the internet, and I will send you a Space Shot sticker and a little thank you. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe button, that way you don't miss any of the daily episodes. As always, the show notes have more information on today's episode. You can hit me up on Instagram and Twitter. Find me at John Molnix. I'm always up to chat. You can also connect with me on Facebook. Just search The Space Shot or click the link in the show notes. Tomorrow, Atlantis, Columbia, and Sergei Pavlovich. I'm John Molnix, and I'll catch you on the flip side.